my name's Jayla.
My name's Yvette.
My name is Carolina.
My name is Jaxari.
So as you can see, we named our poster The Degradation Processes of Bioplastics. And so what we see is that PET is one of the most common plastics that we use today, and it takes up to about 500 years for it to degrade. So there have been people that have opted for using bioplastics, which degrade. However, people tend to believe that they can leave these out in the open and that they'll degrade, but actually it's not true. People still need to follow the same protocol as when recycling regular plastics. So this is why we decided to investigate different degradation processes for traditional and non-traditional plastics to prove that people still need to, follow the same protocol.
So to begin our experiment, we identified our 3 plastics, our 3 solvents to represent pH level, and our 3 temperatures. Under materials and methods, you can see the chart that the table that we color-coded by temperature to represent the different combinations for our experiments. To begin the actual experiment, we cut 1 inch by 1 inch pieces of every plastic, placed them in their corresponding solvents, and we marked with a Sharpie, we marked the amount of solvent inside the jar to indicate for evaporation for whenever we began checking up. The first 2 weeks we did weekly checks, and then after those 2 weeks we started doing biweekly checks for degradation.
And in our data tables from figure 9 to figure 8, it demonstrates the effect of acidity and the heat level that had on each plastic tested throughout the trials. So from figure 1 through figure 3, we are able to see that the PLA plastics show an increase of the weight loss percentage when they were placed in bleach at the 67 degrees Celsius temperature, which is the highest temperature that we had. Also through figure 4 through figure 6, we also see the effects that it had on sugarcane, and they had the similar results, which were that they lost a higher percentage of weight during the 67 degrees Celsius in bleach. And through figure 7 through figure 9, we tested the PET in bleach. There wasn't any noticeable changes between the water, bleach, and lemon juice. However, we did saw an increase of the weight loss percentage during the lemon juice at 25 degrees Celsius.
Some observations we made throughout our experiment, in addition to loss of mass, include changes in dimensions, texture, and even color. The first result that we immediately took notice of is sugarcane bagasse in 67 degrees in the bleach concentration. After just 2 weeks, the bioplastic completely degraded for both trials. We also noticed that for the 0 degree and 25 degree temperatures, both bioplastics were degrading at a much slower rate. There was small progress of sugarcane separating into layers, and as for PLA, they turned into a softer material and started to lose some of the decorative details that were on it. It wasn't until a few weeks later that we noticed the pieces begin to get thinner, clearer, and more fragile. As stated previously, no change was noticed with all samples of PET. However, when put in the highest temperature, their forms changed to smaller and curved pieces.
So based on our data, we saw that degradation rates were actually faster for the plastics that were placed in more alkaline and higher temperatures. So this meant that basically the plastics in bleach and in higher temperatures were the ones that degraded faster, as opposed to the ones in colder and more acidic. We would also like to mention that our data might be a little skewed because of water retention whenever we dried the plastics. So if we were to do this experiment again, we would do a better job of drying them in the desiccator, probably for like an hour or longer, just to make sure that we get rid of all the water to actually take account for the actual plastic and not also the water. We would also, the solvent. We would also extend the amount of time of our project, but due to certain circumstances, we only had 120 days to work on our project, but we would make it longer for next time. Another thing that I want to mention is that out of this project, we learned that biodegradability is not the best solution for reducing plastic pollution, just because when it degrades, all we're doing is making the plastic in smaller pieces. However, one good thing that comes out of this is that whenever we have organic material inside plastic packaging, whenever these plastics degrade, this organic material can go back into the earth and and decompost and all those things. So that would lead to a decrease in food waste.
We'd also like to acknowledge and thank the WISE program, the people who directed the WISE program, our mentor Lucy and Ms. Wu, who were always there for us, helping out and asking if we ever needed any more help or if there was anything else they could do for us. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.